Good morning, wrestling fans. Welcome to PWR Today, 9/9/21, September 9th, 2021. The man they call Meathead and the returning Matthew Thomas. The M.O.T.S. Good morning, Matthew.
Well, hey, thank you for having me back. I'm kind of enjoying this a day on, day off type of thing we're doing this week. We got to keep the audience guessing. You never know, who you're gonna hear on this show. Well, they know they're gonna hear you, but you never know who the other person coming in there or the other person in their ears is going to be.
So you don't know who else is going to be inside them, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
Matthew, we got to keep our pre-show conversations from leaking into our actual conversations.
I think that's a good rule of thumb.
It's a good rule of thumb. Let's talk about the sponsor real quick, and then we'll get into everything we got today.
The sponsor that you're talking about would be Collar and Elbow Brand. They are the makers of fine clothing available exclusively at collarandelbowbrand.com. You head over there, you peruse their inventory, you decide what you want to wear on your back, or just go ahead and get their whole catalog. Just get it all, and you can save yourself a big hunk of money if you enter promo code LindaKay, LINDAKAY. Saves you a big old fat 10%.
Okay. Linda K, LINDAKAY. That's our girl from OV Dub. Linda K, also one of the team here at PWR Today. So let's talk about some news. I got a couple things. First off, PWI 500 list is out, and I think it's no surprise. Number one, Kenny Omega, the Bell Collector, is the number one wrestler in the world according to the Pro Wrestling Illustrated. Will Ospreay has an issue with that. He says that I'd beat up number one any day of the week and twice on Wednesdays. I'm just saying. Well, Will, you're not number one. I have nothing against you, but aren't you number 7? So, just saying. Go ahead, Matthew. Your thoughts.
I'm just a little disappointed I didn't receive my ballot this year. I mean, with being in this industry, you would think that they would consult with the fine purveyors of the industry that we are, and I guess it got lost in the mail, probably along with my census.
You know what else I'm getting confused by too is because this is obviously for the professional wrestlers, the workers in the ring, right? Where's the PWI on broadcast journalists and all that? I was still ranked the last time I checked.
Oh, that's right. We need to. I think we start our own. It's the PWR 500. And we rank people in the professional wrestling broadcast industry, completely unbiased, of course.
Completely unbiased. All right. So Kenny Omega, number one on PWI's 500, as he should be. Go ahead and get to your newsstands or check the internet. But go check out, see who else is 2 through 500.
I will say this, my local grocery stores, they typically do a good job of stocking the PWI 500. So I'll have to be on lookouts at my newsstand. Although I don't know if you noticed this in your local grocery stores or not, but with the exception of PWI, which I think they still stock, like my grocery store periodical section has turned into just like these special commemorative issues. Like very rarely do you see like your normal stuff that you would see at the magazine stand. It's like Life presents this special edition about the Beatles or about there's actually like I see like a lot of.
I'm waiting for the Life edition or the People magazine edition of the PWI 500.
Yeah. It's got to be right around the corner. I don't know what's going on with the special commemorative trend now, but I'll have to do some investigating.
Well, here in the Milwaukee area or here in the Wisconsin area, after the Bucks won in Game 6, Bucks and 6, there was a whole bunch of special edition Milwaukee Bucks catalogs.
Mm-hmm.
So, and with the Brewers making their way, having one of the best records in baseball, October is going to be huge Brewer mania around here. And for those of you across the country that haven't been paying attention, you're going to hear a lot about the Milwaukee Brewers coming up real soon.
It's interesting because I don't recall seeing any special commemorative Colorado Rockies periodicals recently.
Games.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
maybe we could do like a nice piece on the stadium or something.
Right. It's not like they're actually going to, say, steal the All-Star game from the city that should have had it, but just saying.
I mean, hey, you got to do what you got to do sometimes to put yourself on the map. But I'd like to see, they could take one of those magazines and really compare and contrast the difference between a Rocky dog and a Mile High dog, because they're two completely different things with different price points that they sell at Coors Field.
Okay. Well, I'm sure this gentleman's been to Coors Field once or twice in his life. Triple H, Paul Levesque. Folks, he had a cardiac event. Now, having been in this realm, in this world, in different forms, not myself personally, but a cardiac event is different than a heart attack.
Yeah.
However, a cardiac event is very serious. Now, the operation that he went through and made it through was a cardiac event, which was actually caused by a genetic heart issue that he has. He's expected to make a full recovery, according to WWE.com. So, well wishes going out to the game, Trips, the king of kings.
Absolutely. A scary scenario, but glad to hear it sounds like he's on the backside of it and that things are going to be all right.
Well, I mean, he had his heart worked on, not his backside. So,
hey, you don't know what else he got done while he was in there.
Paul, Triple H, we're just joking. We can only joke because we know you made it through, and we know you're going to recover. So,
and I mean, let's be honest. You don't know what kind of stuff they're doing to you when you're under anesthesia.
What they don't realize, and folks, this isn't something I had planned on sharing, but we're talking about this here. The man they call Meathead will be undergoing a procedure next month as well, and I plan on having that thing video recorded. So they don't know this yet. I'll be sneaking in a GoPro in the corner of the room. So
yeah, and I mean, maybe that thing goes up in some of our PWR content.
No, because it's a dong reduction, so I can't have that being. I'm sorry, that's not what it is. All right. That was awkward, right? Let's move on. Dynamite last night from AEW, folks. This was the first show post All Out with the debuts of Bryan Danielson, Adam Cole, Baby, and Ruby Soho, who gets to play her own song from Rancid called Ruby Soho. Matthew, we are going to run down not all of them, but let's talk about the big ones, all right? First off,
and I
the
think
show opened.
And I think you technically have to, the phrase that you've got to use, I don't think you put the re in there. I think it's just dongduction. Dongduction. Yeah, I thought
we moved on from that, but okay, you got your dongduction joke in there.
Well, I thought about it afterwards, so we're talking about.
I'm uncomfortable with you thinking about the dong. Let's move on.
All right, so the opening match, right?
It's Dustin Rhodes and Malachi Black. The finish showed Dustin Rhodes, the Natural, bleeding from the mouth and some of the blood on Malachi Black's shoulder. I'm calling shenanigans because that kick hit him in the shoulder.
Yeah. Now that looked like it kind of got a little suspect when you see a little bit of mouth blood like that. So I think that was definitely planned there for effect. And I don't think that it, necessarily hurt anything. It just didn't land necessarily where they wanted it to land. But no, they continued to tell this, what I think is one of the closing chapters in this story. You have him run through all of Cody's folks, and then we found out last night we were going to get
last night. Yep,
we were going to get Cody and him, and in New York. So we will get the presumably the closing chapter to that feud there, and the closing chapter on Black's first feud in AEW.
Okay, let's continue on. CM Punk comes out to the ring, and we had asked, and we got a very definitive answer. We had asked what's next for CM Punk after he's done with Darby Allin. CM Punk, basically said hello to Aunt Linda, and it's nice that he called out Aunt Linda. Linda, by the way, I wonder if this should have been done, because CM Punk did this, but, kind of foreshadowing and telling what's going to happen later when MJF. Do you think it took some of the steam away from MJF pointing out who she was?
I think it was done entirely to set up that angle, because I think you'd kind of have more people scratching their head if MJF just came in hot for that. I think that the Punk introduction of it was a nice intro into exactly who she was, and I think it made the whole MJF thing land that much harder.
All right. We'll come back to the MJF stuff in just a moment here, but as he says, who should I take on next? And he's listening to the crowd. Taz grabs a microphone and starts yelling from commentary. No Excalibur, by the way. And I don't know if it was a setup to CM Punk stuff or Excalibur was intentionally off on purpose. I know that could be a reason to have him at the table so he could call him out. So Taz says he's tired of Punk's BS love fest and says to never mention any member of Team Taz again. And I thought it, and thank you, CM Punk, for saying it right after. When did he say it?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? It's like we go, Arnold Schwarzenegger, I heard you saying my name. Knock it off.
That's exactly what it was. And I mean, I think it makes sense because Taz is a heel and he's trying to interject himself here, and kind of steal the spotlight a little bit. And I mean, and that's the good thing about, I like Punk pointing it out here.
Okay. I loved the interaction between Tony to Ruby Soho when it got cut off by Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter, and Rebel, not Reba. The line, the phrase that pays is, they used to call you the runaway. Well, we know how you ran away to catering for 4 years. Wow. I mean, Damian Nelson on this very program, our friend from Big D. Our friend from Big D used to be a big fan of catering, but people that go to catering on real shows mean that they're on the actual show. So that was a shot of where you've been for the last 4 years. And they let us know that Ruby actually knows Britt and got Brittany into the business.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a built-in storyline right there. And I think the cool thing with her is they jumped right in. And, and that is the benefit to her, winning that battle royal. I mean, you look at what they do with the rankings is so, Bryan Danielson, seemingly CM Punk seemingly are not going to jump right into title pictures, but her getting that win in the battle royal, it does that. So I think it'll be a little bit of an interesting departure from what we normally see, with the AEW formula.
Let's talk MJF. MJF complains that he was biasly made to restart a match that he had already won for the 4th time. Called Cincinnati shit Cincinnati. Wow. Here's the takeaways I have. Now, for somebody running down the names, Aunt Judy, Aunt Linda, sorry. I was thinking of Judy Bagwell.
Of course Aunt you Linda, were. When are you not?
I mean, she's always on my mind, just like Georgia. So Aunt Linda, Brian Pillman's daughter, and Brian Pillman Jr., that is, came out smiling. I don't like it. MJF's running down their family. His daughter smiling. I didn't like it. Running down the family.
Yeah.
Aunt Linda smiling. Didn't like it. Maybe I don't know. I mean, maybe the moment just got to him, but MJF didn't get enough heat. So what he did is he went out there and got a heat machine. And then, oh my God, you know what really got him the heat? Was the bombs dropped on Wardlow. Yeah.
No, absolutely. And this is, in my opinion, MJF back in top MJF form. The angle with Jericho has been good, but it's a different scenario when you've got MJF not basically working a program with a legend, when he's working a program with somebody, who's on the middle of the card.
Sure.
It's a different ball game.
And Brian Pillman Jr. is there to get MJF heat.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what he's there for.
Yeah. And I think it's the perfect pairing, and it's a really big program for Brian Pillman Jr.
Yep.
And there's a lot of built-in stuff there to really generate heat.
The Trios tag team match, the Dark Order took on the Pinnacle. We had just talked last week about why is the Pinnacle not a team again? Well, here we are. Cash Wheeler, Dax Harwood, and Sean Spears with Tully Blanchard and Wardlow coming out. No MJF. But after the match, the Pinnacle won it, and Uno and Silver get face-to-face. Dark Order begins to brawl with each other. Anna Jay and Tay Conte are at the entrance ramp as the men continue to fight. Colt Cabana tried to calm everybody down. Does Adam Page come back and reunite the Dark Order?
See, I view this as they need somebody to come back and reunite them. I don't think it's Adam Page. I think it might be somebody's intro into AEW.
How about -1?
That would be cool. That would be cool, but I don't know if they're going to go that route. But you've got two free agents that, in a roundabout way, I mean, are connected through, there's a direct connection there between Brody and these two free agents that I'm thinking about. I don't know if they're going to go that direction or not. But
so out of those two free agents, because we won't say their names just to be that way,
mm-hmm.
but out of those two free agents, does one become a leader? I mean, because out of those two free agents, I think one's a leader and one's a follower.
Yeah. Now, I mean, there's the possibility to make
one of them's already
work.
free, I believe. I don't know about the second one.
Yeah. So that's my takeaway from it. I don't know. I don't know if that would make a ton of sense or not, but it's a possibility.
I will tell you this too. They're one of those two free agents responded back to Sean Waltman's tweet and his new look, and this free agent called Sean Waltman Dad.
Oh,
because they looked identical.
Oh, that's great.
Tony Schiavone interviews the Elite. Matthew, I got to ask you. I sent you a text. It was spoiler free, but it was something to set you up because I was ahead of you. Dude, was that literally connected from his nose to his ear?
I think it was.
And the center of his nose?
It was like it was almost like a ear nose monocle.
Good grief. How is it that the Good Brothers have to stay in back and say that they're not the best tag team in the world? As Adam Cole Baby says, the Young Bucks, who don't have belts, by the way, are the best tag team in the world. Sorry, Don Callis may have said that, but the Good Brothers are right behind you, and they're champions. They have gold.
Here's what's so interesting about this is you've been pushing the Elite like they've been just over the top, trying to get them boos, trying not to have people cheer them. I think you're going to have a harder time with Adam Cole now. He adds a certain coolness factor to the Elite that has not been there in this incarnation.
Well, if you're going to keep calling Schiavone a nerd, that's not going to get you that far. Get out of here, you nerd.
Yeah. So it's going to be very interesting to see, how this plays out, because people want to say Adam Cole, baby, and they want to, cheer him. Right. Which has not been the case with the Elite. So I'm curious as to what we see in the upcoming weeks with this.
Yep, Bullet Club is now called the Elite in AEW. This Friday, they're finally going to do it. Andrade El Idolo taking on Pac. Brian Pillman Jr. gets Max Caster, which was set up in a backstage promo. Max Caster is back, Matthew Thomas.
Yeah.
Yo, I'm going to hand you some roses. I'm all look of boses. I don't know.
Maybe that's what he does. Maybe he comes back with a really squeaky clean, not even PG, just G-rated rap.
Oh, yo, Disney Junior is my bomb. I don't know.
I'd like that.
Trios tag team match, Britt Baker, DMD, Jamie Hayter, and Rebel taking on Chris Statlander, Riho, and Ruby Soho. Again, AEW, thank you for playing right into it. Rio and Soho, those two rhyme. Again, when are we getting Page and Cage versus Cage and Page?
In a cage.
In a cage. On a Road Rage.
Mm-hmm.
And Darby Allin and Sting respond to Tully Blanchard, even though the match is already set up for next week. It'll be Darby Allin taking on the chairman, Sean Spears. Adam Cole taking on Frankie Kaz in his in-ring debut. The spot where Adam Cole got shot out of the ring by Frank Kaz looked a little rough. And then Jade Cargill takes on legit Layla Hirsch.
Yeah, all of which I'm interested in. AEW continuing to doing a good job of, promoting the cards, on a weekly basis.
And again, announced for September 22nd at Arthur Ashe Stadium, Cody Rhodes, Malachi Black. That is a match that they need to keep building up. They're doing great work on that one. Finally, the main event, Jon Moxley versus Minoru Suzuki. I'm going to be the lone wolf out of all of our listeners here. Matthew, I don't know where you stand in this. I was not interested in this match.
This wasn't for me. I like it better than seeing somebody getting sliced open with a pizza
all it was
cutter.
Was just a strong style match, which is okay, but there wasn't a ton there for me.
Moxley's AEW run since he lost the title has been interesting. I get the impression he's done his thing with Eddie Kingston, but there's a lot of departures with Moxley where you feel like he's just kind of running. They're just running their programs for Moxley that don't necessarily play into the larger booking scheme of AEW. And I feel like last night was, it was
It was
a
a one-off
one-off
match
yeah,
that was
for his
announced at a
hometown.
pay-per-view run on
Yeah.
a Wednesday.
Yep. And
now the backstory on this is that's who he beat for the IWGP US Championship, I believe.
Yeah.
So it's a rematch that they had, and they'll put that over in the Forbidden Door on the other side of the door. However, for the American viewing audience, your general wrestling fan, which I consider myself one of those, not one that trades tapes still or watches, deep 7 or 8 deep promotions, just didn't do anything for me. It was a good match. I mean, it was a wrestling match. It was strong style. I mean, it was like Shinsuke Nakamura, just in a stronger match.
You know what you should do, though? You should start trading tapes. You should just write random letters to people in the mail and say, hey, do you want to trade tapes with me? Just completely unsolicited.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure what kind of tapes I'd get back. I'm not sure if they'll be wrestling. Matthew, that might be more in your wheelhouse.
Would it be like would you do it kind of like a self-addressed stamped envelope where you just mail them just a blank VHS tape and they record whatever?
No.
Is that what?
No. All right, that is it for Thursday morning. We've got more to talk about. We got some Jonathan Coachman news tomorrow. We've also got some Mick Foley news for tomorrow. So for Matthew Thomas, I'm the man they call Meathead. Hey, thanks for stopping by. So long, everyone.